G'day, everybody. I want to talk about disabilities and people with no disabilities and who should be the shamedest when it comes to they can't do work or they're not doing their job. Now, people with disabilities, we get told all the time that people with disabilities can do work if they just try hard and they like doing what they do. So they will able to work as their life already sucks and shit and hard. And there's nothing worse than doing a job that you don't have to do, right? Get paid pence for it and be working extra harder and suffering than everybody else. That sounds pretty unlogical thing to do. But if you are healthy, go work when you can. That's people who are on disabilities. When you look up the numbers of people on disabilities, you will see that most of them actually always do pretty good. They try hard, unless they were told that they can't do it, right? And then there's some of them that give up, as they say, it's all right, you got a disability anyway, and so on, right? But you get rid of all that, like I said, right? Who's doing the best work? Disabilities crook, got a headache, got all the excuses that people who don't have disabilities or problems, as soon as they get it, they will use it for an excuse because they don't have it very often, so they're not used to anything. They become weak, right? And stuff like that. And it's easy for them to use top 10 excuse, right? As they see other people use them. Now, when it comes to disabilities, they say, oh, they can use an excuse because, they're sick. And of course, they probably could, right? And technically, they don't even have to be there when it comes to the laws and how much work do we have to do and what we're capable of doing and stuff like that. But we try our hardest to do at least something or to look for something that we can do. So all that is technically not embarrassing, is it? And if a disability decides not to work and all that, it's still not too embarrassed as they've got a reason why they don't, as it's very hard for them, right? Now let's go to the people who have no problems in today's society. These people had jobs as well. They've gone to college and everything. And yet these people go too slow. They fail in their job. We can look back years later and go, what happened here? These people actually fail in their job so much that they talk about to each other how much they fail. They think it's a big game. They think it's an election thing to blame each other on that game. And they're the only ones that can play it. And so they do, don't they? These type of people. That's when it comes to elections. And then you got people who works at workplaces and then they'll look at someone else and go, why aren't you doing more work? Why aren't you doing the same amount of work as me? Well, if they're a person with no illness and all that kind of stuff, you would call them lazy, wouldn't you? You would call them person that doesn't really like to do much. Probably be a person that wants to be the person that gets to push the button kind of thing, as everyone wants to be. They're probably even on the phone too much, which is makes them feel so shit. Now, these people that have no disabilities, guess what they have instead that I see mostly? Because they've got to come up with something like the disabilities, I guess. They have depression. They talk about how much they're a failure and they couldn't do it and they got nothing wrong with them. And so they get depressed. And they become a failure because the system taught them to be like that. And they're not getting rich and everyone else is getting rich and they've got nothing wrong with them. So they wonder why aren't I getting there? And they become a failure. And you know what the worst thing about it? Is they got nothing wrong with them at all except they didn't get educated right. They got bullied too much. Now they're depressed in their head. They're all sick in their head because they're not happy that they don't get paid enough and all this stuff. And why am I the toilet dude when I can do something else? Why can't I get that other job? And so on. You know what I think about when it comes to disability and people with no disability? I believe the people with no disability are pathetic when they fail at their job. They have no excuse and they had years of experience, definitely ones with experience. And they're only pathetic because They're not technically pathetic. They're just pathetic because they love money. They're pathetic because they think that just going out having holidays and parties and talking and all this other stuff, and then when they go out to go do their job, they talk about stuff that they should have already had sorted. That is pathetic. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, as I've got lots and lots to say when it comes to people who have jobs and have responsibilities and have no excuse why they have not done their job except they're slow and a failure at it. And in 10 years, we'll talk about it again because they're slow and a failure at it. You might even see disabilities outdo these people because they work harder, and they do it because they believe they feel better doing it, showing a point. So if a disability person can do that, why can't these people with no disability, college education, show us a point? Have a good one and see you later.